Wilt Chamberlain had unbelievable feats such as scoring 100 points, having 48-inch vert, sleeping with him, doing long jump and high jump. He was decently fast, and this all plays a role in him having high vertical, but 50 inches is insane. There are photos of him jumping very high, but nobody understands this. Wilt Chamberlain is 7'1" and has a whopping 9'3" reach. The rim is 10 foot, so for him to dunk is literally effortless, and he can dunk without even jumping over 10 inches off the ground. So for his head to barely be at the rim is crazy. Here are photos of Wilt jumping with his head at the rim, and here are guys who are 6'6" with their heads above the rim. Guess what? These guys' verticals are not even 50 inches. First, look at Gerald Green. In this video right here, you guys see that he has his eyes right at the rim, and he can jump through the roof and do crazy dunks. Now, guess what his vertical is? Only 39 inches. He's at a height of 6'6" and a wingspan of 6'10", and he's jumping higher than Wilt ever did to the rim, but he's only 6'6". Now let's look at Isaiah Rivera. Isaiah Rivera has had videos of him literally looking above the rim, jumping completely out the gym, one of the best dunkers of all time, and he's only 6'2". Isaiah is jumping higher than Wilt ever has, and Wilt has literally 8 to 12 inches on Isaiah Rivera. Now what about Zion Williamson? Zion Williamson is actually a lot heavier than Wilt and most NBA players, but he's still jumping through the rim and doing crazy windmill dunks, even getting his eyes straight to the rim at 6'6". Now let's go back in the day with Vince Carter. Vince Carter, one of the best dunkers of all time, and he was only 6'6", and he could do every single dunk in the world in NBA games and even in the dunk contest, and nobody even said he was close to a 50-inch vertical. It's actually stated that Vince Carter's vertical is only 43 inches. Last person we're gonna go over is Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's a lot taller, a lot closer to Wilt's height, but he can jump just as high as all these other guys, eyes straight at the rim, doing crazy windmill dunks and through the legs. His vertical is only 35.5 inches. We can even calculate Wilt's vertical on Reddit just by looking at this guy's calculations based on the pixels and the way the camera was angled. His vertical actually was stated to be just around 39.7 inches, which sounds just about right. In my opinion, if you look at everything Wilt has done on the track and on the NBA court, he's a very impressive athlete, one of the best athletes of all time. He could probably only jump 40 inches. In my opinion, he's probably doing about 38 inches. One thing you get from jumping super high is your hang time. When you're flying in the air and you're jumping 40 to 50 inches like all these great athletes, your hang time is going to be through the roof. One person that everyone says has great hang time is Michael Jordan. But what if I told you the idea of hang time is actually a myth? What you need to understand is hang time is literally impossible. People think that kicking your feet and throwing your arms forward or back can help improve hang time, but the only thing that really does, kicking your feet back or throwing away your arms, is give you a counterbalance, so when you land, you don't land on one leg or land awkward a position where you can mess up your ACL or knees. That's the only thing it really does, and it kind of gives you more balance in the air, but hang time is literally impossible. Your hang time is simply your jump height, which is based on your impulse. Impulse is change in momentum equals applied force times elapsed time, and you can achieve a high impulse in multiple ways. You can apply a stable amount of force over a longer period of time, think of a really deep, long, heavy squat, or you can apply a lot of force in a short period of time, think of a vertical jump or approach jump. Improving this ability of impulse by improving your force production, your ability to do rapid rate of force development work, stuff at like med ball throws, trap hard deadlifts, explosive dumbbell jumps, explosive max effort approach jumps, is a way to improve impulse, which is going to improve your vertical jump. That will make you seem like you have more hang time. The most important thing you need to know is that relative impulse, so how much power you produce to your body weight, is the most important thing to improve your quote-unquote hang time. But you need to understand that the overall idea of hang time is not a thing, it's just a very high jump height. The one thing that every NBA player has is a 40-inch vertical, right? What if I told you that was a myth? To explain this myth, let me show you the NBA Combine from 2021. The 5th highest vertical in the NBA Combine was Jaden Springer. He has a 34.5-inch vertical. Now look how high he jumps compared to the rim. Now add his 6'7" wingspan and he looks like this. Now the average person is gonna be like, okay, he for sure has a 40-inch vertical, but when you take in his reach, his tall height and then his long wingspan, all of a sudden it makes a lot more sense that his 40-inch vertical is more like 34 inches. Let's look at the second highest NBA draft combine vertical, a center who jumps 37 inches. He is 6'9" and has a wingspan of 7'3", and now look at his dunk. It is clear that his vertical is not 40 inches like everyone likes to say because of the crazy wingspan, and he has a crazy above average height. This is the same thing for the top guy with a 41.5 inch vertical from the 2021 draft combine, but the thing is, everyone thinks that they have a 50 inch vertical or a 40 inch vertical because athletes look crazy when they're doing these dunks, but most of these athletes have crazy wingspans and height that most people aren't even close to getting. The average height is 5'8", the average NBA height is 6'6" to 6'7", and these guys who are getting close to the 40 inch verticals are all 6'9", with crazy wingspans that are all the way close to 7 feet long. On top of that, all these guys lie and say their standing vertical is 40 inches when really the only thing that's 40 inches is their vertical leap. A vertical leap is when you add an approach to the vertical and you're actually adding like 15 feet of horizontal momentum to help you jump even higher, but people will say that vertical leap is their standing vertical jump, and that doesn't make any sense at all. We get that all NBA players can still jump pretty high, but what they can't do is play defense. All these NBA teams are scoring 120 to 130 points and nobody is playing absolutely any defense. Now, that is a myth. The concept of nobody playing defense is honestly ridiculous. Everyone is playing amazing defense. NBA players are just becoming better athletes. Every NBA player coming out of college is 6'5", 6'4", 6'7", point guards with crazy wingspans. They're running 4.8, 4.4 40s, crazy speed, crazy vertical. Everyone's becoming better athletes and the court is being spaced out more. So now you have people like Steph Curry, Trae Young, Buddy Hield who are shooting the lights out the rim. So guess what's happening? Now NBA defenses are pushing further out into like the half court range and the hash marks, which is making people get more space to get max velocity. When you give more space to offensive player, they can reach higher speeds, which makes harder for the defense to sprint laterally and change directions and decelerate. Defense is one of the hardest things for people to do. You have to realize that you're running backwards practically. You're running sideways, backwards. You're never really running forward, so you can't reach the same velocities as the person on offense. So if the person on offense is doing let's say a pick and roll, and it's a deep pick and roll, so person can shoot from deep or he can just sprint to the rim. If you switch an NBA center and let's say this NBA center has quote unquote bad defense, that point guard can sprint because he has much more space and hit max velocity. So his max velocity, let's say around the paint area, and then he has every option because the NBA player is at 15 miles per hour and then the person who's on defense who has to guard his layup options or his mid-range options is at 2 miles per hour. Now this person who's on defense needs to hit close to 15 miles per hour or just guess which direction he's going to go. Because NBA players are becoming more athletic, these people are coming in at even higher velocities and they're even more skilled and being much more deceptive, so it's even harder to play defense because these guys are becoming such good and fast athletes. When you take in the component of velocity and space on the NBA court, everyone is still playing great defense because these guys are becoming better athletes on the offense and defensive end. It's just becoming almost impossible to play defense because of the space and velocity people are hitting. You have to either guess correctly or just hope they miss. On the perimeter, you have to understand the basic stuff, as in you have a 6'3" guard who could shoot the lights out, and you have a 6'6" or a 7' center who can't play defense because of how fast the smaller guy can move laterally compared to the big man. You can't just say, oh my god, he's trash at perimeter defense, when the guy is literally 7 foot and his levers are longer and it's harder to cross over each step and actually move side to side with actual speed. So in my opinion, NBA players are actually playing much better defense due to the higher level of defense they have to play, the higher velocities they have to play at, and the more space they have to cover in the NBA court. Comment down below your biggest NBA myth, and if you think you agree or disagree with any of my myths, make sure you watch this video right here to understand why Jordan's toxic mindset made him so great.